My paper is on artificial intelligence in the programming field. Um, Throughout the course of the paper that I wrote, I talk about the various controversies and problems that come with the creation of artificial intelligence. Um, Also, in the paper, I talk about the opinions that experts and famous technological or scientific people have on the subject of artificial intelligence. So, early on into the paper, I talk about the opinion of two famous people, Bill Gates and Stephen Hawking. Bill Gates is worried about artificial intelligence, and he's worried about them being able to take more jobs if they did obtain artificial intelligence. Um, he's worried about this because, as of right now, robotics and technology are already taking jobs from people, and they don't have artificial intelligence. So, if they did obtain artificial intelligence, then they would be able to do even more jobs and probably much more efficiently than people would. Stephen Hawking is also worried about artificial intelligence, but he's more worried about if they obtained artificial intelligence, what the robots and technology would do. So he's more worried about artificial intelligence trying to potentially harm us in some way in the future. A quote that I have in the paper from an article is, whereas the short term impact of AI depends on who controls it, the long term impact depends on whether or not it can be controlled at all. So this means that he's worried about what harm that artificial intelligence could do to us in the future if they did obtain it, and not only the harm that it could do to us, but whether or not we could control it at all. So one of the controversies that I talk about in my paper is how to tell if robots are actually self-aware or not. As of right now, we don't know how to tell if they're self-aware or not. There are a lot of theories. One of the theories I talk about in my paper, though, is called the integrated information theory. And the theory states that there are two prerequisites to being self-aware. The first one is that the object or entity has to be highly differentiated. This means that there has to be a high quantity of information inside of it that it can draw upon. The second prerequisite says that it has to be highly integrated, which means that the information that is inside of it, it has to be interconnected in some shape or form. An example of this would be the human brain, and how we have 5 different senses. You have to feel all 5 of the senses. You can't just feel 2 or 3 of them. Another controversy that I talk about in the paper is whether or not robots can be self-aware or conscious at all. Scientists are pretty much divided down the middle between these. One neuroscientist named Bobby Azarian explains, though, in an article that I have in the paper, that they can't be because technology is binary. And this means that technology works off a series of symbols. And in technology case, it's talking about ones and zeros. This means that they can only recognize the symbols and they can't understand the meaning of the symbols themselves. Another opinion that people have about this is that robots can't be self-aware or conscious at all because of the coding that is inside of them, which will always prevent them and hold them back from being self-aware and having free will and being able to make their own decisions. The last controversy that I have in my paper is whether or not we should create artificial intelligence at all. And there's a bunch of reasons that people have for whether or not we should. The biggest one, in my opinion, though, is religion, and how many religions have the opinion that we shouldn't create it at all because it's unethical. So an example of one of these religions would be Christianity. They think that only God should be the one to create life, and they see us trying to create artificial intelligence as us trying to create life. And they believe that the Christian God is the only one that should be able to do that. Another reason that people say that we should not create artificial intelligence would be robot rights. If they did obtain artificial intelligence and make it open to the public and technology in general, then how would we how would we give rights to the robots? Would they have the same rights as animals? Would they have the same rights as people? And if we did give rights to them, what kind of rights would we have to everyday personal technology such as cell phones and iPads and TVs? Um, another topic over this controversy for a reason that we shouldn't create artificial intelligence is jobs taken, and Bill Gates sort of touched on this. And it's that if we create artificial intelligence, then they will most likely be able to take more jobs than people because they'll be able to do our jobs more efficiently than people can. Um, the last topic over this controversy would be human robot relationships. Um, a big problem in Japan right now is that people are coming to the point where they have relationships with technology. And if artificial intelligence was created, then there would be even more of these interrelationships between humans and technology, and it would potentially make birth rates of people drop because there'd be lower um, amounts of relationships between people. So, in conclusion, we don't have the technology to create artificial intelligence yet, and we're probably a few years away from it. But there are a lot of controversies and problems over this, and as of yet, we don't have a way to tell whether or not the technology would be self-aware or sentient, even if we could create it right now.